a Bitcoin strategic reserve. We're not going to be buying that, but we are going to use confiscated assets and continue to build that up. We're going to stop selling that.
I believe you're going to see that as one of the asset classes that we all look at. I look at it as digital gold, as I said before, and I do believe there's a real need for everyone to look at it as one alternative to, I would say, the optimism that I have in the world. If you want to hedge hope, Bitcoin is not an instrument for hope unless you're hopeful you're going to make a lot of money on it.
The U.S. government just nearly doubled their Bitcoin holdings, but there's a catch, folks. The U.S. is only interested in seizing Bitcoin. That's right. And some analysts are even speculating that there might have been some major back doors opened by U.S. government officials to get their hands on this massive bag of Bitcoin cheese. Now, the layout of our current economic structure really makes me worry about something like when the United States used its military to confiscate gold right before World War II and the Great Financial Collapse. This gold confiscation of the past was in a backdrop of a major economic depression as well. A great post and highlight from Mr. Uppy brings the point to the table, folks. They confiscated gold in 1933 while the government piled it up. Now we see nations hoarding gold and silver again. When fiat burns, they won't hesitate to come for yours too, but things have changed. And now there is Bitcoin being called digital gold by Larry Fink of BlackRock, one of the people in charge of the biggest asset manager on the planet. The backdrop is so important to pay attention to, folks. In 1933, Roosevelt signed Executive Order 6102 to confiscate the gold when it was valued at $20.67 per ounce, and then immediately revalued it up to $35. The result was a 69% devaluation overnight, and then you fast forward to 1971, Nixon closed the gold window, removing that gold backing of U.S. dollars entirely, and the dollar lost 96% of its purchasing power since then. A great, great highlight from market disruptors. And the U.S. has not been shy about this outlook. As you saw at the beginning of this video, Secretary Treasury Scott Bessent had no issues being very, very clear that there is no intention of buying Bitcoin right now, but they're more than happy to seize it and hold it. And those seizures are kicking up in a big way, folks. We had this come out from the FBI director just a few days ago. $15 billion worth of Bitcoin was seized. This is what they call one of the biggest financial fraud takedowns ever, a global criminal network built on forced labor, money laundering, and deception. The FBI took down their empire, and now, what the hell is a pig butchering scam anyways? A Chinese-born businessman used forced labor in Cambodia to pull off this pig butchering scam. And it's not what it sounds. It's not creating new ham for Christmas dinner. Here is what pig butchering really means. It's a scam where someone is contacted electronically and asked to turn over their money, usually cryptocurrency, with the promise of being repaid in full or more. Sometimes the scammers say that the money is going to save life, bring a life-saving surgery to the table, and the victims are called pigs because the scammers will fatten them up with emotional pleas and even allow what appears to be a genuine bond to form before asking for the money. Now, Z, the person charged with this pig butchering scam, been charged with wire fraud and money laundering, facing 40 years behind bars for ripping off 250 American victims. Now, the total amount of Bitcoin that they initially got out of Z's hands was 127,000 Bitcoin. That is a whole hell of a lot of cheese. But they also grabbed another 16,000 Bitcoin just yesterday. Now sitting at 143,000 Bitcoin just seized in the blink of an eye. Zach XBT had a good highlight on this. What's most interesting is the wallet address listed in the US government $14 billion grab with 127K Bitcoin. This seizure previously was named in a milky, sad report 2 years ago after having a vulnerable private key, and now the US government says they have custody of them. Very interesting. Maybe some backdoors were left open in some documents seized from investigations prior. Now, Chen Zi, the person behind this pig butchering scam, is on the run. Chen Zi is on the run with about $1.8 billion worth of Bitcoin still in his custody, it looks like. He's the chairman of Prince Group, a human trafficking scam group that operated in Southeast Asia that just got sanctioned by the US government. And now the scary backdrop begins to build. We've seen nationalization of companies, the beginning of it with Intel. I have the opinion that at a point the US government is going to nationalize a portion of strategy for those Bitcoin holdings as well. And here is where all the Bitcoin sits on the planet right now. Marty Party did a great write-up on it. US government now owns 2.09% of the entire available Bitcoin supply. Marty Party also notes that Coinbase Bitcoin under management is at 2.95 million Bitcoin, sitting approximately 18.9%. This includes ETF custody at 1.2 million, exchange clients, other custody being Coinbase Prime, and now under the US regulatory framework, which includes all public companies and their wallets, this comes up to approximately 30%. Strategy at 4.1%, Binance at 3.8%, and Bitfinex at 2%. Bitcoin held by individuals is now down to 51.8% of the supply. The transformation of wealth is happening in live time. US government agencies are getting control of the Bitcoin supply through a various set of vehicles, with the likes of Larry Fink talking investors into buying Bitcoin on a ETF. Strategy from the other side, convincing that there's some massive outrunning that Bitcoin treasuries can do in the short term versus AI and all these other options on the market. The most important thing that we need to remember during these massive government Bitcoin confiscations and this bag building is that Bitcoin wouldn't have gotten this far if you didn't have the ability to custody Bitcoin on a cold storage device. We would have never gotten to the point we are today with Bitcoin's adoption. And this is why it's more important than ever to hold your crypto in cold custody. Arculus, we have a link for these. I absolutely love these cold storage devices. You can use code DC20 and get 20% off, and the ease of use of this wallet is really the point that I like to show people compared to all other crypto wallets out there. Very easy to use, and you can take the power back and get your crypto off of these exchanges. Now, over the next 10 years, I think things are going to get pretty ugly, folks. There's going to be contention on nation-state levels for Bitcoin bags. Obviously, as you see the weakness that crypto ecosystems and exchanges face, with most of the liquidity being offered by Binance and questionable connections to America's adversary, the Chinese Communist Party. That could get real ugly real quick. But what I know is that the dollar is guaranteed to continue failing. Hyperinflation is right around the corner, and the only way that I can have an outlook of protecting my family's future and buying power is with Bitcoin. Make sure to hit the like and share this message out to the world. We need to remain based, as the next few months are going to be absolutely cataclysmic with market action. But the long-term outlook of this is Bitcoin is the sought-after asset between America, China, Russia, and countries across the world. We have front-ran these nation-states so far. Remain safe, and I get it. Boating accidents will happen, but you have to remain based and stay focused during this time frame. I love and appreciate you guys, and I will see you on the next episode. Take care.
We just wanted to take a quick second to shout out our sponsor, Arculus. They are a cold storage hardware wallet, helps you secure all of your digital assets for the future. Just tap this thing to the back of your phone and boom, you're in. We wouldn't be able to do this without them, but also wouldn't be able to do this without you guys, the Disco fam. You've supported us a lot over the years. If you want to support the channel now, just use the code DC20. It gets you 20% off this card. It's the #1 way you can support this channel going forward. Thank you for your support. We'll see you at the top.